introduction, my name is Holly Lehman. Why are you in that room today? Why are you sitting in front of a computer learning about how to present and how to define your career and use that? So that's what we did. We ended up finding that for us, we loved community. So we started head in the cloud, heart in the community. We got creative. We got passionate. We ended up finding people all over the world and using this negative COVID for the positive. So how can you use your day-to-day passion to define your next step? Remember, be creative. Learn to laugh at yourself. When you go into a room, look for opportunities. Look for ways to connect with somebody that's not like you. Remember, the person sitting next to you, look at the person next to you. Look at them and figure out what skill do they have that you don't? How can you partner together to define a space that you can bring passion, bring community, bring a new idea together? And when you look for the positives and you look for the opportunity and you find the people that balance your skills and your qualifications, I promise you're going to be powerful. So let's look at the next thing. So we've talked about your passion. Really think about it. Like, what are you here for today? Why are you here? Why are you listening to me speak to you? What are you here to define yourself as? So when you go home today, I would ask each one of you to really think about what your passion is. What's driving you to be here today? And when you think about that, boldly show up as you. Do you think that I look like everybody that's in my office? Nope. I'm defined as who I am. Look at yourself in the mirror and think about when you go to present, when you go to walk on that stage, remember what defines you and what your passion is, because that's what's going to make you a confident speaker. I'm going to tell you a few tips and tricks. Who wants to hear a few? Raise your hand if you want to hear a few tips and tricks on how to be a confident speaker when you get on that stage. Anybody? Yeah? Okay. So here's a few things that make people stand out as a public speaker. How often have you gone and watched a speaker who's looking around, looks at the ground? That's not engaging, right? So even if you're nervous to look at the people in the room, look above their head, you guys. You don't have to look at the people, because guess what? It can be kind of intimidating. Even for me, looking at everybody here today, I don't know who's really engaged. I don't know if you're enjoying what I'm saying, but you know what? When I look over everybody, all I know is that I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. So when you look at the audience, when you define who's in the room and remind yourself why you're here, speak boldly, speak loudly, and remember, show up as yourself. It's okay to not look like everybody else in the room. It's okay to not have the same passion as everybody else in the room. Remember when they've invited you to stand up proudly, boldly, and be yourself. And remember what your passion, skills, and strengths are. I'm going to tell you a story. About a year ago, I was asked to go to a technical conference, and I was asked to define some code, execute it, and publish it in front of a room full of extremely brilliant MVPs, customers, and partners. Brilliant just as the people in the room. And guess what? I was so nervous because I'm a non-technical, non-coding person in a very technical world. But you know what? When I delivered my session, I executed the code and I was able to have it be a successful experience. I gained a new confidence. So even if you're asked to speak on something that might not be your passion, because guess what? It's probably going to happen. Allow that to grow you outside of your comfort zone. When you go outside of your comfort zone, I promise you're going to gain a new set of confidence. You're going to grow, you're going to learn, and you're going to push yourself to achieve the next goal. So don't be scared to define who you are, whether it's what you're comfortable talking about or not, because each thing that grows you gives you a new experience and gains your confidence personally and professionally. So why is integrating your passion important? Well, you want to be happy at work. You want to go home to your family and be happy. So you have to take the next step. You have to decide what that looks like for you. So for me, when I went to my manager and said, hey, I have this really cool podcast that I do with an MVP, and here's why it's going to make me better at work. Here's why it's going to help me stand out. Guess what? Do you think my manager said no? Bad idea. Evolving your career, pushing community to be better and happier, looking how to be diverse and inclusive in the tech world, there's no way he was going to say no. Remember, your teacher, your manager, your family wants you to be happy. They want to watch you succeed. So if you have an innovative idea, if you want to stand out as uniquely different, if you want to take your company to the next level, define it for yourself. The worst thing that a manager could ever say is no. And you know what? You come back with a different idea. You show up differently the next day. There's data that shows that when you are happy at work, it improves your health, it improves your confidence, you are more driven, and you have increased motivation. So whether it's your career, whether it's your schooling, because guess what, guys? You never stop learning. So don't think that because you're not working now, or you're not asked to present now, or you don't have a career now, it's all going to happen. Even if you're not asked to present at a huge tech event like this, even if you're not asked to travel abroad to present something to a community or an audience, don't you think that each and every day you're going to have to speak and present to your manager, speak and present to your team, speak and present to some sort of audience, and even if it's in your office? So when you learn why you're presenting, how to show up, how to gain eye contact, how to engage the audience and bring them along your journey, I promise you will be respected, you will be promoted, and you will be able to drive your career to the next level. So now, my question for you is, what's your goal? Do you want to code? Do you want to write? Do you want to learn how to be a presenter that engages a room and brings them on your journey? This is how you do it. So we're going to recap really quick. You're going to see today, you're going to go home, you're going to define your passion. You're going to think about what your next goal is and how to achieve it. You're going to think about how to identify, how to evolve your career. You're going to remember daily that you are the manager of your career, of your future, of your next step, and you're going to define that moment. And then you're going to learn ways to engage your audience, whether it's your family, your teacher, your schoolmate, your manager. And you're going to do that by presenting eye contact, whether it's over the room or whether you remember your passion, why you're there, and what your drive is, and how you're going to achieve more. You're going to have eye contact. You're going to show up boldly and proudly. You're going to remember you don't have to look like the person sitting next to you. Be loudly, uniquely, and confidently you. And I promise you're going to be an effective speaker. You're going to drive your career, and you're going to bring others on your journey. Thank you for allowing me to be on yours. I hope you found this helpful. Like I said, feel free to connect with me, ask questions. I'm here for any questions you might have, be it career, social media, presentations, whatever it is.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Holly. So will be any questions? Like she said, she wouldn't mind any question or.
All right, Holly, I would like to ask about your work as a program manager and your take on inclusion and diversity in workplace, and elaborate on your role as a program manager at Microsoft. Thank you.
Yeah. So if I heard you correctly, I'm going to repeat the question so that I make sure that I identify your question correctly. Is that okay?
All right, okay.
So if I heard you correctly, you wanted me to tell you about my work as a program manager and how diversity and inclusion incorporated into that picture. Is that correct?
Yes, very correct.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So one thing about being a program manager at Microsoft, each role is uniquely different. So you have technical program managers and non-coding program managers. So I was a non-coding program manager, and I'll tell you the difference of the two. Is that okay? So as a technical program manager, you are responsible for defining a certain feature. And within that feature, you work with the engineering team to find out the roadmap, what's going to be created, what's working, what's not, how to look at the specs of the feature. How do you, as a program manager, work with the engineering team to make sure that feature is released the code is correct, and the feature will be released in a way that your audience is going to effectively use it. As a non-coding program manager, the really fun thing about that is it's all different, right? So in some roles, I was on Azure. My job was to work with the Azure marketplace team in Israel and look at feedback that I was given from customers, partners, and VPs, and find out how do we prioritize those pieces of feedback into the next feature release cycle. So that's one role. Another role that I've had that I absolutely loved is running a community. I've had the privilege of running community for Intune, Configuration Manager, and Azure. I've also been able to work with the Cloud Data Management MVP community as well. And I have to tell you, that's where my passion started. My passion was seeing these incredible humans in technology make our products better, make our products usable and efficient in any workplace. So when I talked about finding your passion, that's what I mean. When I realized that my passion was truly about humans in tech and how they want to make our products better, I wanted to make sure that the end user was able to use our products that would make them successful. So when you ask me about how diversity and inclusion is incorporated into my job, I learned the skills of humans all over the world. I realized that if our products don't work, you are not successful. I wanted the IT admin in Nigeria to be able to be successful in their job using Intune, Configuration Manager, Azure. If we don't make products the way they can use it, no one is successful in their job. And I want people to go home and say, I use Microsoft services and I provide for my family. I make a life for my family. So for me, I had to humanize technology and I had to think about the person using the product. So whether it was someone in America, whether it was someone in Italy, I wanted to know, why are you using the technology the way you are? And I found that people all over the world use our services and products in a completely unique way. So I had to evolve my career to start bringing these learnings back to the team. So looking at the different ways people work, people talk, people communicate, and how they're using our products is what defined my role and how I would say diversity and inclusion was incorporated.
This second question from the lady was that, okay, you spoke about public speaking and how you can develop your class in public speaking, but the conference is focused on blockchain. Can you explain on the correlation between public speaking and blockchain, or the importance of public speaking as a tech professional? Yeah.
So you're asking me to define the different ways that you can present a tech versus a different audience. Is that what I hear?
No.
So loud. I'm so sorry, Kasim. Can you?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Sean, do you want to come again with the question? Let me see if I was not on my desk.
I'm so sorry. You guys are all so loud and chatty. I can't hear. I'm so sorry. I'm so happy to see everybody talking and having fun though.
Today's event is about blockchain, right? It's a blockchain conference. So many of them, they have passion in the blockchain space. So they are wondering, they want to hear from you, how will it be of benefit to them? How will public speaking be of benefit to them as a blockchain enthusiast?
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So what I would say is what I've learned in a number of my tech events that I've run and that I've attended and that I've had to recruit speakers. When you're talking about a technical topic, whether it's blockchain, whether it's Azure, whether it's marketplace, it doesn't matter. You can quickly lose your audience if you just talk, especially in a technical world, because you don't know what the level of the audience is. So what I would say is when you're going into a technical conference, you cannot assume that everybody is at the 300, 400, 500 level like you are. Everybody sitting in this room are brilliant. You're brilliant humans who have taken on a technology that not everybody knows. So what I would say when you go into a room, I don't care what the topic is, start small and then grow your audience. Bring them on your journey with you, and don't assume that everybody knows the same information you do. I'm going to tell you a secret about technology. I run events with very, very executive level, very, very entry level. And I'll tell you something, the people that we thought were the 500-600 level, they weren't. Just because you're speaking to an executive doesn't mean they know the same information you do. So start small, grow your audience, bring them along with you. And when you are speaking, do your best to do some sort of engagement. So for me, it was a PowerPoint. For you, it might be a demo. For somebody else, it might be whiteboarding. But make your topic engage the audience before you lose them. In a world of technology today, especially something virtual, you don't know who's paying attention. I can only see 2-3 people in the room. I don't know how many of you are listening, but I know that if I make it relevant and I bring you on the journey, somebody in this room is listening. Somebody in this room is getting something out of it. So make it entertaining. And guess what? If you're doing a demo and the demo fails, nobody cares. In fact, if you're talking to a technical audience, they think it's cool. So don't panic if your demo fails. Think about, how do I teach them how to fix it, how to overcome this minor hiccup in the road. So I would say keep it entertaining, grow the information, do something to bring them on the journey with you, whether it's an entertaining PowerPoint, whether it's a slide deck, whether it's a demo or a whiteboard. Find ways to make it exciting. And remember, you're probably the executor in the room, so don't let the audience define your confidence. I hope that answers it.
Very much for such an amazing session. So,
I have one more quick question for Oli on behalf of some of the students. We have some of the students working here. They come every once in a while. So I would like to check, Oli, is there a chance, how easy is it for a student to get job with Microsoft, for instance?
So I would say that you're in a great position, honestly. They now have a program called the ACE program, where we are hiring students out of college. We're realizing that you are brilliant. You're thinking 10 times quicker than we could possibly think. So if you have a school counselor, or if you want to work with Kasim, I would highly encourage you to look into the ACE program. I would encourage you to do, we have programs for internships. And if you can get your foot in the door, that's the best way to do it, through a vendor, through an internship, or through the ACE program.
Okay. Thank you very much, Charlie. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much. Yes.
thank you, thank you. We've come to
So we're trying to move on.
a round of applause for our ladies and gentlemen. That was amazing. We really enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.